Well, Hospice of Chattanooga was a dream that was started in 1981. It's when we took the first patient, but there was a year of preparation, planning sessions in that, because I worked at Memorial Hospital as a nurse, and I saw this great need for this concept of care for those persons that are suffering from a life-threatening illness and in the last journey of their lives. The one thing that I saw was these elderly people particularly. I worked in med-surg and I saw them going through all these tests and everything. And then we had the tests, and cancer was the most prevalent at that time. But that was something that I saw such a need for persons to enter these last days when all curative resources had been exhausted, and to be cared for, and to be comfortable, and for pain management, and for presence. Dr. B.F. Ruffner was an oncologist, and Dr. Bill Dwyer was a surgeon, and they were in the beginning cared for the patients because they were at the cancer center in Erlanger. So they were very involved with the patients. But the volunteers mostly were persons in the community that were interested in this. It's the most amazing realization for me of this dream that I had, to see that today we have treated at least 20,000 persons in these 30 years. We go into 18 counties to see how the public and the communities and even the country come to accept this concept of care.
So when it initially started, it was a concept just for cancer patients. So cancer patients where there's no more treatment, they could have this other form of care called hospice, where they would have nurses and social workers and chaplains and volunteers, CNAs come into their home to provide care. And probably 23 years ago, 25 years ago, this whole concept of not just because you have cancer, other people die with other things. And so what were those other things? AIDS, lung disease, heart disease, end-stage neurological diseases, dementia, and so then the concept of, what is the goals when you have a frail person who's in a fetal position, who keeps pulling out their feeding tube. And so it sort of changed the way we looked at the care that we provided, allowing options. So just because we can keep you alive with the ventilators and with the tubes, is that the quality of life that you want to choose? And so it opened up a whole new era of what is it that the patient and the family wants. And that's how it's different with hospice, because we go back to what is your goal? What is it that you would like?
Hospice of Chattanooga came into our lives at probably the most stressful time in our collective lives. My wife had developed cancer some 5 years before we actually got involved with hospice, and it looked like she had the cancer cured. It then came back with a vengeance. Towards the very end, it was clear that Nada was not going to make it. And she had expressed that she wanted to be home. And the only way we could take her home was because of hospice. And what happened once we did take her home is that the family converged on our house. That included my grandchildren, some of whom were very young. And while Nada's medical cares were being attended to very effectively, I was personally very concerned about the kids. Well, hospice showed up with not only nurses and assistants, but social workers as well.
As a social worker, we walk into a home with the goal of offering total care. A lot of that means that the family, they're really not sure what they need, but we want to make sure that we make all the services that are available to them. We want to make sure that that's an option for them and make sure that they know that. A lot of times they don't know that they don't know what the end of this is going to look like. Sick and dying sometimes just means sick and dying, but there's a process to get through that. So we want to hold their hand and make sure that they understand the details of what that might be for them, what it's going to look like, what it's going to feel like, how long is it going to last, what does that mean for the caregiver. What does that mean when this is over for the caregiver, for the children, for that husband or that wife or that mother or that daughter? What is it going to look like? How do they move on from here? So we like to help them with a plan. We like to help them verbalize their thoughts and feelings about where they are in this whole process.
I'm a retired human resource executive, and so I've seen lots of people who do work. The people that are affiliated with hospice don't have work, they have a mission. And it is just amazing to me how they have put together a staff that is not only caring, but so professional and technically competent in the services that they deliver.
One of the wonderful components of Hospice of Chattanooga is our bereavement program. And after the person that you have loved and cared for, however many days, weeks, months, have died, we do continue to follow you. Up to 13 months, longer if needed. And there's a variety of different ways that we can do that. We can work with you and your family individually, where a bereavement counselor will come into your home or your workplace or whatever would work for you. We also have a variety of different groups that we offer in the different locations that some of our offices are. We have some very specific death-specific groups. We have several widow and widower groups, but we also have some general groups. We have a suicide support group for those that have experienced a suicide in their life. And then one of the things that I love in the year is we do camp. And it's a one-day camp. We have one for kids 4 to 11, and then we have a teen camp for kids 12 to 17, where they come and we provide a wonderful day of activities for them that include art, music. We've had Kids on the Block most every year come, and they do a wonderful piece on grief. We have movement, and it provides kids an opportunity to be with other kids. It's like, oh gosh, I'm not alone in all this. Someone else has experienced a mom that's died, or a grandpa that's died, or a dad that's died. And it's a wonderful, wonderful opportunity for these kids, and we get volunteers involved as well as staff, and that's one of my most favorite experiences throughout the whole year in our bereavement program.
My mother and my grandmother died, and then maybe 6 or 7 months after that, my dad found hospice, and I got really interested in it, so we started going. Well, the drums is really fun because it's just like letting your feelings out with music, and then the art, you let your feelings out by drawing it and stuff. Well, before, the counseling had helped me get my feelings out, but when I came to this camp, it allowed me to get more feelings out. And then there's some stuff that we did, that art and music I told you about, that's what I really liked. And what I found out was every single child or someone that's worked here has either had someone die or someone close to them die. So it helped a lot not to know that I wasn't the only one. I was angry about what happened because it seemed like I was the only one and no one else had anything to do with this, but then I realized that I wasn't the only one. It's happened to a lot of other people, so that helped me get that stuff out, and I just wanted them back, and then I realized that life is life, and
Well, we realized that you don't have to do this alone. I think that's a very important message to get out, is trying to do it alone. Your emotions get carried away with what's going on, and you're just not in a good position to deal with the issues that arise.
Wow, the reward of doing this every day it's unlike anything I've ever seen or done before, knowing that there's someone there to support them. I think with everything else in life, you get instructions, you almost get a manual of how to do things, but you don't get a manual necessarily on how to die. So to know that I've been privileged to be in their intimate space and give the best that I can with educating and supporting them, I think that's a reward. Just knowing that I've been honored to do that with them, that's a reward.